Hey folks, today's Mach-E GT review is brought to you by the kind people at Carzing who want to help you save time, save money, and save headaches by doing a lot of those annoying dealer things at home first. Here's what Carzing does. They help you find the car you're looking for, whether it's new or used. Then they help you line up that financing in a way that's personalized to you. They don't affect your credit by lining up that financing. That's right. The credit check does not affect your credit, and you can personalize your financing to the parameters that fit your needs. Then, when you go to the dealership to pick the car up, you've got those things lined up. You're in and out quickly, saving you headaches, right? So it saves you time at the dealer, saves you headaches, and even with their custom financing options, can save you money. So head over to carzing.com/TheSmokingTire or hit the link in the video description to see if Carzing works for you. Now enjoy the Mach-E video. What's up, folks? Welcome to a beautiful morning in the canyons. I am very excited because this is the Mach-E GT, the fast one, the good handling one,
right? All
the things, the future of Ford performance.
It's the flat plane crank, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Were you thinking that all morning?
No, I just thought that now.
The Mach-E GT is, man, it's exciting because I've had, what, 7, 8, when did I get my March? I've had 7 months with my regular Mach-E, and I really like it. I found it to be an amazing daily driver. Like, yes, it is an appliance, but it is truly a joy to use in the city. And if I had any criticisms about that vehicle after putting 5,000 miles on it, they're small. It would be that the seats are a little less sculpted and supportive than I would like, and it would be that the suspension is a little less refined than I would like. It's a little oversprung and underdamped. It's a little bit of an economy car kind of ride, which for a vehicle that's $53,000, you know, it leaves a little to be desired. It doesn't bother me, but it's not the best that it could be. The Mach-E GT fixes those things. Honestly, you've got these beautifully sculpted seats with an ultra suede center and these shoulder bolsters here. You've got magnetic ride control suspension. You've got 20-inch wheels with Pirelli P0 tires, Brembo front brakes, and the powertrain is insane. You've got 480 horsepower, and because this is the performance version, 634 pound-feet of torque going through all four wheels.
So 0 to 60 is like 3.5 seconds.
3.5.
A little quicker than the one without the performance by 1/10 of a second.
Yeah.
And how much horsepower does yours have?
Mine is
like
3
something.
Mine is 346 horsepower.
Okay.
So this is 135 more horsepower, and this is 216 extra pounds of torque.
Significant. And this gets the additional driving mode, the unbridled extended, which is like the track mode, which kind of manages the battery, thermal management a little bit better for consistent performance.
Right.
And it also sends 60% of the power to the rear motor instead of doing a 50-50 split.
And Ford has done a smart, which is they've taken the traction control settings out of the touchscreen menu, and they've put a little hard button.
Made a button.
So you can just boop, and now your traction control's off. You don't have to dig through menus anymore, which is very cool. They've also added the Blue Cruise and whatever, which I am not going to use because I am capable of driving a car. Yeah, so the magnetic ride also lowers the height by 10 millimeters. You also get the painted over fenders, a contrasting black grille,
and a little different front and rear fascia, I believe.
It's a different treatment.
The mesh treatment.
Yeah, the mesh treatment. So,
I think it's a very good looking car. I mean, your Mach-E is growing on me. I like it a lot, and then this one with the painted fenders just looks even better.
Yes.
I think it's a really good looking car.
I like it, and you know what I'd like to do is I'm actually gonna go down here and flip around so I have room to do a little launch, because right there I would launch into a corner.
Yes, I
don't want to do that. In theory, according to Ford, this has a 260-mile range. According to me, although I haven't done a range test, I have to say that seems optimistic.
Okay.
Because whoever's been using this one you know, when it showed up full, it said 205 miles.
Oh, well.
And as I drove it, that actually seemed to be accurate, or pretty close to it. So we're pointed up a hill, but here we go. There goes the coffee cup. And, ooh, fighting for traction. You hear that? A little bit of scrambling from the tires there.
Oh, I hit the gas at 35 miles an hour the other day and got front wheel spin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it thing scoots.
Yeah. Also with the, you know, summer tires are going to affect your range, just like extra power and just like all-wheel drive.
Right.
So
the regular GT, I think, has an advertised range of 270, and then with the performance edition or package, whatever, it goes down by 10, probably because of the stickier rubber.
So this thing is quick. It has lots of grip in the corners. The steering is very video gamey. They've added a bunch of weight to the steering. Now, I don't know if that's just from the wheels and tires, or if that is added, you know, for intentionally to make it feel sportier. I'm not sure I need it.
I think it's intentional because when you go from unbridled to unbridled extended, it gets even heavier.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's trying to add that
So
feeling.
it's fakey.
Yeah.
It's not really necessary, but it's there. Wow, so just like other very fast EVs, you have to really, really pay attention to your speeds, or you could enter a corner way too hot.
Right, because the sound is basically the same from 20 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour in terms of tire and wind. So
I didn't even look at what mode I was in. I'm in unbridled.
You're unbridled.
Okay,
You're
and I'm in one pedal.
One pedal is turned on.
Yes.
Okay.
The drive modes are very stupidly named. Whisper is the range mode, Engage is the everyday mode, and Unbridled is the super sport mode.
So shouldn't Park then be hitched or something dumb like that?
Yeah, well, they did the dumb ground speed.
Well, yeah, I saw it yesterday. What is that? Like,
that's
what's
the
our
speed
airspeed?
until you launch one into the roof of a home, and then it becomes airspeed.
Because you don't know how fast you're going because it's so quiet. I mean, you can turn the propulsion sound on, but it's very soft. It's very mild. It's kind of like a weird muted V8.
The pace is extraordinary, and there's no sensation of the speed really, other than just G-forces.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have any frame of reference. So this thing really, really rips.
Yeah.
The brakes are good. I like the Brembos.
Big Brembos.
Yeah. The mag ride. Oh, negative G. Handled it all right.
You feel that?
Yeah.
A little back step. Wanted to step out over that hump.
Very low center of gravity in this thing because the battery pack is a skateboard floor. So what I will say about the mag ride is it really improves the body control. I mean, it really does. In the city, unless you're on whisper mode, it makes it a little firmer than I would actually like.
Mm-hmm,
I wish I could
agree.
independently adjust the mag ride from the drive modes,
right?
Which you can't do. It's only the 3 modes and that has a pre-programmed setting. But the refinement and the body control is substantially improved. Having said that, quite a bit of that control of the body is offset by the bigger wheels and lower profile tires. And so some of the harder edges of potholes and expansion joints come into the cabin more. And it's like what I would really like, and I haven't seen if I could spec this out yet, I don't think you can, is I would like smaller wheels, the 18s instead of the 20s, with that mag ride.
Yeah.
So I could have the ultimate in everyday comfort and control.
Yeah, because your car, I know you complain about that body control a little bit, but what I really like about your car is it rides, most of the time in the city, it rides really well, and it quiets everything down, and it's just very smooth.
Yeah, with the low profile wheels and tires, you get a little more of that
yeah,
and you can feel those little jars that come through that like make your keys rattle in the cup holder and
it
stuff
comes through
like
the
that.
stiffer suspension and the different shocks and everything.
All right, you go.
Yours is pretty chill.
Mine is cushy.
Cushy.
These seats I really like. The seats have a longer thigh section.
Yeah.
So the bottom section's bigger. It's not just about there being more lateral bolstering, which there is, but there's longer thigh support.
And these have a sticky insert in the center, which helps
they're
keep
grippy.
you in place, which does work.
And they have, it's got a nice lumbar pillow. And these shoulder things, they look a little weird, but they actually do work.
Yeah.
I just think this is a really nicely... Ford is... When they buy their seats from Recaro, they're good. When they make their own seats, they're not so good. This is probably the best Ford has ever done with making their own seats.
This is a really clever improvement that I can't remember seeing in other cars. And, you know, they knew they had these seats to work with, so how do we improve them and give them more lateral grip without having to buy Recaros? They tack on this extra bit.
And even in the rear, you get the ultra suede grippy bit. So if you're in the back and people are mobbing, you might not get thrown around so much.
I'm gonna get past security man.
Movie set. There was a thing that showed the name of the set. It's called like Swamp Flower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So check out Swamp Flower. Check out Swamp Flower in theaters at some point. Woo!
I mean, yeah, it's real quick. The brakes grab very hard. One thing I noticed on the way up here, because I drove this up, is in one pedal mode, when I'm braking aggressively, there's like a crunch at the beginning of the pedal. And it's right at the beginning of the pedal travel where you kind of transfer from
one to the other.
Pedal to regen. And I know that when you're in unbridled extended, it turns off the regen.
Yeah.
But when I turned off one pedal...
Did it still do it?
No, it doesn't do it, which is good, but the actual braking force is like really deep in the pedal travel. Instead of being earlier like it is in the RS7 we have up here today. So
well, you can see what regen does.
Yeah.
And that's how the regen is set up.
But around town, the one pedal driving is really good. The gas pedal, or throttle rather, is very sensitive. I feel like you kind of got to manage your foot like an F1 driver. Really gentle on tip-in because it's real sensitive from a stop.
Did you use the whisper mode at all?
Yes.
So it's less sensitive in the whisper mode.
It is a little bit less sensitive, but even so, I mean, if you're used to driving like a Camry where you get into the pedal a certain amount, the first week in this car you're going to be jumping off the line.
I agree.
Like Fast and Furious.
Yeah, no, it takes a little getting used to for sure.
So weird.
You have to be kind of steady with your throttle. You want me to put one pedal back on?
Yeah,
okay. Hard to do it. Oh no, I've hit it twice. So just like notes on all Mach-E's, I hate the touchscreen climate controls.
Yeah.
I accidentally hit the wrong thing like a bunch. That bothers me. And I don't love that you have to do a bunch of tapping if you don't have your presets set for your XM or whatever controls. Fortunately, we do, and so now I scroll through them using the steering wheel controls, and it's fine.
It would be nice if there were a few hard buttons at the bottom for things that are used really, really frequently. And
commence mopping.
Also, the F-150 has the touchscreen laterally mounted, and you can rest your hand on it and tap across. And in this, it's a little bit more awkward to brace your hand to hit those buttons.
I agree. Still, I think it's a very good system. And now that there's been a couple of updates, and we haven't had any freezes or crashes or anything like that, or errors in probably 3 months since the last update. So I'm happy with it.
I like the way it looks, and I like the speed that Sync works. But I really don't like the steering of this car. I can't feel anything.
It's real fake.
Yeah. It almost feels like the front wheels are mounted further back than they are in other cars. I'm not describing it very well. It's just so disconnected.
You know what's better is mine is the rear wheel drive one. And I actually think because there isn't any torque vectoring going to the front or brake vectoring going to the front, even though the steering is very digital, it's more predictable
it's less diluted,
in the rear wheel drive one.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, because all you're doing with the front wheels is turning them at that point. So I think a GT, a rear wheel drive one with this power would be pretty cool.
That would be cool, but they'd have to upgrade the rear motor because the rear motor in this is the same rear motor that you have.
Correct. They just add a bigger one to the front.
Add some juice and a bigger thing in the front.
So that's true. I agree with you that the steering in this isn't the best. It's not ideal. I don't think it's great in any of the all-wheel drive EVs except Taycan.
Yeah.
Taycan, because steering is what Porsche does. They've nailed that pretty well.
Yeah.
But I have to so this thing is 69,000 is tested. 59,000 base, 69,000 is tested. That includes the performance pack.
Right. Which is 5Gs.
The color costs a little bit of money, and the wheels and tires. It's like $10,000 for the stuff.
And slightly less than a similarly spec'd Model 3 dual motor, right?
They overlap. They overlap depending on what your options are going to be. This has the Blue Cruise and stuff. That costs money. You skip all that. I don't regret at all not waiting for this. I have enjoyed this. In fact, when we leave for the rest of our weeks with the RS7 and with this, I would prefer to drive this for the rest of the weekend.
Cool.
And I think going from this, $70,000 performance EV, hopping in a $125,000 performance Audi RS car, and this is not a knock against Audi, to go to a gas powertrain feels remarkably unrefined in town.
It is amazing that, right over there we have this an example of the standard of performance four-seater transportation device. That's kind of how things used to be done.
Yeah.
And this might be how things eventually are all done.
Yeah. So I don't wish I owned one of these because the things that this does for the extra money are not useful to me. The thing is about a high-performance gasoline-powered car is when you have the base one and then the really hot one, usually you can enjoy the difference in engines all the time. They sound different. They vibrate different. The gears they shift a little differently, right? Mm-hmm. But in an EV, when there's no idle. If you're going less than full throttle, there's no difference at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and in your car, you can still put yourself in any lane you want.
Yeah, it's still, even with mine, it's still absolutely quick enough to do anything. Yeah. You could drive like a total dick bag, you know what I mean? And silently, and so I don't personally get anything from the extra power or the extra performance. If I could get a base car or mine, which is a premium rear-wheel drive car, with these seats and mag ride as standalone upgrades, that would be amazing. That would be like the perfect car for me.
How much is your car? Like 40?
53.
Oh, okay.
Because I have the big extended battery. I have the 300-mile premium rear-wheel drive car.
Right.
So if I could pay an extra $5,000 to $6,000 and get these seats and mag ride, that would be like my perfect everyday car. I went back to mine with the regular seats and I was kind of like wah wah because I really like these seats so much better. And the mag ride, the body control is excellent. It's excellent. But when you combine it with the big wheels and tires, it also transmits more into the cabin. It doesn't give you that isolation that mine gets. But
yours rides like a RAV4 kind of.
Yeah, which
and
is
this
fine.
rides a bit more like an X3.
Yeah.
I think is the way I describe it. It feels more solid.
Yeah. And again, I complain about mine as someone whose job it is to critique cars.
Right.
My wife, anyone else who gets in my car, they don't have these type. They're not like, well, the body control. They don't talk about
they're healthy
that.
people.
They don't care. So, but overall, steering aside, I think this is a fantastic product. It's definitely worth the money they're charging for it. If you want a fast EV, it feels like it's built really well. Mm-hmm. The choices that they've made to improve it over the regular one are smart choices. And it's a really nice package. I really think so. So thanks to Ford for letting us have a go for a week. Shout out to them for getting us in it pretty quick after the launch. Thank you to you guys for watching our videos, and we'll see you later. Bye.
And remember, always fight your tickets. Use code TST10 on the Off the Record app available in the Android and iOS store, or go to offtherecord.com/TST.